Hey, Newsa-Cast listeners, you can find every episode on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. Please help us grow by subscribing or sharing the Newsa-Cast with friends, or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Now let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the Newsa-Cast. What is a Newsa-Cast? It's where we bring local folk stories to life through conversation.
Hello, Newsa-Cast listeners, and welcome to episode 13, the lucky number 13 for the Newsa-Cast. And this is going to be a little different interview this time, a little different setup, right, Joe?
Tosh, I'm excited for this one. Now, you're right. So this one is completely different for us. If you recall back to episode 3 when we interviewed Tim up at the fly fishing shop, that was our first crack at taking our equipment mobile, and it let's just say it's not the best audio in that episode. But Taylor, our producer and our editor and our guru, I would say, set us up with some really great recording equipment. So you and I, Tuesday night, we went over to the Community First Champion Center and we represented Noosa and Red Smith. But you and I also went after and just took that recorder and talked to a whole bunch of people and actually had a really good time doing that.
Yeah, and you know what? We probably could have talked to a whole lot more. But it was a good night and a good experience, and we got to learn some things about some new sports and opportunities for kids, more than anything in the area that we didn't know about. But we also got to touch base with some of our past interviews and past groups that we've talked about, and it was fun. And from the looks of it, a decent crowd, and people are getting information and talking to groups and. For the first time, it looked like it was pretty good.
Yeah, I would agree, Tosh. And one of the neat things I thought, so they had probably mid 30s of tables set up of different groups. So there was everything from almost any sport you could think of. The YMCA was there, the Fox Cities officials, just anybody you could think of related to just sports in this area was there. And that's really, there's not many opportunities where all the groups get together like that and are able to talk. I mean, it was great. We reconnected with the Shields marketing team. They were next to us. I mean, you and I, actually, this was gold for us walking around and talking to people, but all of these groups interacted with each other, exchanged, cards, ideas, things like that. So from that perspective, that was really cool. Matt Tenhanken from the Fox Cities Visitors and Convention Bureau. I mean, him and his staff did, just another great event. Those guys are awesome. I mean, this is just
right.
Everything they touch is just well run and well put together. So shout out to those guys. Kudos to those guys. It was, we had fun, and I think everybody else did. At least that was my take on it.
Yeah. It looked like people, the biggest thing is people are interacting with each other.
Yes.
And anytime you can do that, that's good things are going to happen.
Absolutely.
And we got to, with Paul McCann, we also got to really tell people about the Every Kids Plays grant through the Red Smith as well, which is huge. And hopefully getting some people to try some different sports as well, or activities, really. Sports activities, you name it. It was there.
Yeah, it was fun to hang out with Paul. We don't get together as much anymore with the Red Smith group. So we spent a few hours together, bounced some ideas around, and just kind of got caught up a little bit. But yeah, between Paul and Dub and you and me, we talked to a lot of folks about the Every Kid Plays grant, which is a fantastic grant. Go to redsmith.org if you want more information. But really what it is, it gives kids an opportunity to play sports. Maybe the family finds themselves in a little difficult situation. There is an expense to play these sports, and we're here. Red Smith, Noosa is here to help offset those costs. So we were able to kind of spread that message, and hopefully some people take advantage of that. We would love to do that.
Yeah, it was a good event and another, successful night as far as the Convention Bureau and the Champion Center is concerned. It's going to be fun. I think you guys are going to learn a lot as you listen to some of these interviews and we introduce some of those people who are coming up. But we got some good stuff happening this weekend. It's Appleton's annual Oktoberfest.
Yes. I that comes up so quick. I always forget it's in September, but yes.
The Oktoberfest, along with the car show, the license to cruise on Friday nights. You got football, you got sports, you've got the Packers playing Thursday night, you've got the car show Friday, you've got Oktoberfest on Saturday.
High school football.
I have to give a shout out. Yeah, high school football. I have to give a shout out to the Appleton firemen and their chili stand. Our good friend Jeremy Hatinsky.
Yes.
Will be making chili, and he'll be making chili and dishing it out until mid-morning, and he has to take off to see his son play. He's in the band at UW Oshkosh, the marching band. So he'll be there for a little while. So if you listen to this podcast and you are getting chili from the firemen, say hi to Jeremy.
Yes. Are you going to make it down to Oktoberfest, Tosh?
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see what's going on. We always try to get down for a little bit. So lots of bands playing, lots of good food. How about yourself?
Well, I have to I have to deliver mail to the fine citizens of Appleton that day. But if it's a light mail day and we're done early enough, my daughter Amelia, it's homecoming this weekend. Yeah, pictures are scheduled for 5:00.
Oh, geez.
Kind of down in the Oktoberfest area, so that's going to be interesting how people get around. I for one maneuver around via bicycle, Tosh, so it is no issue for me. But other folks might have a problem.
Yeah, hop on a bird scooter. There
you go. Yes, I'll listen to the music at least from the post office parking lot.
Yeah, we encourage people to go down. It's always a good event. Always upwards of 80 to 100,000 people show up for Oktoberfest. Weather's going to be beautiful. 80s and sunny on Saturday. And it looks like good weather for the car show on Friday as well. So get out and enjoy our beautiful downtown Appleton and this amazing Oktoberfest. And the best thing about Oktoberfest is all the money that goes back to community groups.
Yes.
I think that's the coolest thing about it.
In a lot of the groups, Tosh, that we saw and talked with at Discover Sports and recipients through the Red Smith granting program, almost every one of those groups has a booth selling some kind of food. Yeah. I mean, that might be the best eating day of the year. It's just starting on one end of the Ave and just working your way down. And you just, I love that so much. I miss that.
And speaking of eating, Mad Elephant is opening up in the old Houdini's.
Oh, excellent. I didn't know that.
So I believe they had a soft opening. They do have some of the Houdini staples, but obviously Mad Elephant is the former owners of Taste of Thai.
Sure.
And so they do have some of those staples coming with them as well. So it looks like it could be an interesting restaurant. I'm looking forward to making my way over there and having some dinner one night.
Yes. Envision maybe a Newsa-Cast brainstorming night, Tosh.
That would be excellent. That would be excellent as well.
Yes.
Any big plans other than getting pictures for your daughter? That's always a huge night.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's exciting. And then just officiating some football on Friday. Yeah, Thursday night's going to be interesting. I'd like to, the Packers have a big game. It'd be fun to watch that, but I'm going to start that night by officiating some high school football. So
there you go. It's going to be a beautiful night.
Absolutely. What do you have going?
Football Thursday nights. My son plays freshman at 4, and the varsity follows immediately after at 7:00 versus Wrightstown for both of them at Wrightstown.
Nice.
So that should be some good games for the FBL teams. And we have some Oktoberfest. We have FBL's Pancake Feed.
Yes.
Is going to be on Sunday. So if you are interested in some breakfast and helping out a football team, at FBL in the Commons, they have their Pancake Feed, followed by a band and choir concert as well. So if you like that kind of stuff, you can do that as well.
Yeah.
And then after all that, I have family pictures as well. So
yeah, smile pretty, Tosh. Smile pretty.
Yep, exactly. So we got a whole bunch of stuff going on. So good things.
No, it's a great time of year, and we love Wisconsin, Tosh, and I know I'm excited to get this show on the road. But first, you and I are going to play one of our favorite games, an old look at new.
All right, Newsa-Cast listeners, the Newsa-Cast old look at new. That look at history, whether it's United States, whether it's national, whether it's the state of Wisconsin, whether it's Northeast Wisconsin, or if it's the Fox River like Joe's been doing the last few weeks. It's that look at history that we like to go to. So I'm going to let Joe go first and see where he leads us this time
Tosh,
around.
I'm going to take us off the river. I know it's been 2 weeks that we've been paddling up the Fox River, and I got to say, I love this segment. It's fun to look back at history, and I thought, you know what? Let's take a look back at where the Red Smith Banquet has been. We've been at a couple of different venues through the years. So when the Red Smith Banquet started in 1966, it was at a little place called the Reed's Supper Club on South Oneida Street in Appleton, basically where the Red Ox is. That corner right there had it was about a 500-seat banquet hall back then. So the first 3 or 4 years through the 60s, the Red Smith Banquet was there. After that, they moved to the Country Air. And I don't know, I'm pretty sure, Tosh, you might remember that building. That was incredible,
Yep,
incredible.
absolutely.
All-you-can-eat chicken. That was out on West Spencer Street.
Yes,
just south of College Avenue. In fact,
I think it's a storage facility.
It is. It's so weird. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that one was interesting too, because there were tables behind the stage. In fact, one of my, and I will try to do this. But we're trying to do more social media posts, and this would be a cool picture. There is a fantastic photo from the 70s. I don't even know who's at the podium, but it's from behind the podium, and you have the speaker and the picture's out over the 1970s Country Air room, where it's just a smoke-filled room and everybody's dressed up in their suits, and it's just an epic photo. I love it. I'll try to post it for us. But yeah, the long history at the Country Air. I mean, the food was great. It was all you can eat. They'd put buckets of beer out there. I mean, guys like Tommy Lasorda, Bob Euchre, all those guys, were there. In the Country Air. I mean, I would say that was one of the heydays back then. The old Midway Motor Lodge, which was, I think it's still there, that little bubble dome on College Avenue.
Yeah.
That was kind of that's where everybody stayed. That was, the after party was there, that kind of thing. So yeah. And then back in the 80s, College Avenue, the Paper Valley Hotel was built in College Avenue. And I think that was about 1984 or 1985 when that hotel was built, sometime in the early 80s. And they tried to get the Red Smith Banquet to come down there. It's a natural event to fill their ballroom. I always remember the committee was a little hesitant to move to that location because they just wanted to make sure that the service was right. Because you can't mess with the chicken, Tosh,
Right, exactly.
But finally, and I think it was 1985, made the move to the Paper Valley Hotel, and we've been there every single year until COVID hit. But a lot of great memories of the hotel. I mean, in the heyday, in the very heyday, I would say the biggest attendance of the Red Smith Banquet through the 90s. All the side rooms were filled with closed circuit. There was probably 1,600 people scattered throughout the hotel. A lot not in the main room. So that was incredible, really, to think about. I mean, to pay money to go sit in a room and watch it on TV. And then we had, we had COVID. So, the next venue became our computer screen. We did a virtual event. And then the following year in 2022, we made the move over to the Fox Cities Exhibition Center and had, I think a fantastic show with Bill Walton and Leroy Butler. We had a blast. That was a great show, kind of a really cool room. And from there, Tosh, we morphed into the Newsa-Cast and into a segment we'd like to call an old look at new. So with that history lesson of the Red Smith Banquet, what are you looking at?
Well, first of all, if you walk into the center from the 2022 banquet, you can still hear the echoes of Bill Walton. So, well, I'm going to say one thing first. A couple weeks ago, I had the Milwaukee Mile as my old look at new. And they just announced today that they're going to be hosting an IndyCar race again next year.
That is awesome. I love it.
So that continues that streak of at least one professional race or one race at that Milwaukee Mile since I think, gosh, it was 1908 or something like that. It's a pretty crazy amount, I think we said.
Speaking of the Milwaukee Mile, in our Gilbert Brown throwback 2 weeks ago, right. Gilbert talks about the Milwaukee Mile.
Yeah, he was part owner of that, wasn't he?
Yes.
Well, we're going to go down to Milwaukee September 28th, 2008. And Joe, you should know where this is going. Brawny, longtime brewer Ryan Braun, hits a 2-run shot to put the Brewers up 3-1 against the Cubs. And they go on to win their first playoff, go to their at least one game playoff in franchise history since in 26 years. So, perfect. This comes out on the 28th.
Absolutely. Just an incredible scene. I mean, that was just eruption, the locker room. Uke was epic in the locker room with the champagne and the singing. And I mean, that team was great. This team now, let's hope we have some celebrations this year. I think they're excited.
Wow. I think it's bound to happen. They're at home for 3 games here against St. Louis. And I think we'll see the celebration. It's as much as it would have been nice just to win it right away. It's nice to come home and win it in front of the fans as well. Doubt. So hopefully we'll keep our fingers crossed. Cubs lost, Brewers win. They get the division. The 2008 team, I mean, there was a couple walk-offs in the week before that. I think Braun had both of the walk-offs, and then he comes in and hits that 2-run shot in the 8th inning to put him up 3-1. And I remember watching that. Because that was the, I could be mistaken here. That was the year of CC Sabathia.
Yeah, absolutely it was. Yes.
And where he carried that team on his back, pitching on 3 days rest. And that was fun. That was a fun experience for sure. 2 of the biggest signings in Wisconsin sports history, I would say, right? CC Sabathia for that year and maybe Reggie White for the Packers. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. Really, if you think about it, 2 signings that turned around 2 franchises. Right. Yeah, that's my old look. I love it. So I do too. Now I'm excited for playoffs. Let's get them going. Yes, absolutely. Let's play ball. That was our old look at new, one of our favorite segments. Hope you enjoyed it. All right, Tosh. Well, last week we talked to Matt Tinhinken and we talked about the Champion Center and the impact it has on the Fox Cities. And you and I have had a chance now to walk through and experience the Champion Center. And I tell you what an absolute beautiful building. I know you've spent a little more time in it than I have on the ice rink side, but man, that's an impressive building. Yeah, you know what? That is like I said in an interview last week, it is a crown jewel of the Fox Cities. The amount of business that it brings into our area is incredible. It's a beautiful building. With the field house, with the seasonal area, with the ice rink. And, I just see it only getting better. And we had a nice short interview with the general manager, Adam Ligocki. We had a nice short interview. Hopefully we can get him back on the podcast and really dive into a little bit of what he's been doing and into maybe some of the future stuff with the Champion Center as well. Yeah, absolutely. This was a great interview. It's a good way to kick off this episode. So let's get down with Adam Ligocki and let's learn a little bit more about the Champion Center. Adam, it's awesome to have you. We had Matt on the last episode and we talked a lot about this building. I think it's my second time in here, but it feels like the first time. It is a really, really cool building. You're lucky to be working here. I love this place. It's awesome. Yeah, you said it. Cool is what I always describe it as. We have so many different things to do, so many different types of people come through here. And I'm really proud to say that I'm a part of this. Absolutely. The room we're in right now is one of the coolest boardrooms I've ever been in. Super high ceilings, all glass. I love this location. But you mentioned, so the Champion Center is made up of one main ice rink. You have a multi-use building, basically, right? That's either could be hardwood or ice. And then you have another hardwood facility with 4 courts, or what is it, 8
volleyball?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so the field house is 4 basketball courts or 8 volleyball courts all the time. The main rink is the main ice rink all the time. And then our seasonal arena, which I think is probably one of the coolest things that's even available in any sports place throughout the nation, is an ice rink pretty much November through end of February. And then we rip it all out and we put in 4 more basketball courts. We can also fit 5 volleyball courts in there. So kind of an exciting time of the year for us. It's going to be converted in the next 3 weeks or so here, so that's kind of a fun process to see.
I'll bet. Now, do you guys do that in-house, or is that subcontracted out? How does that all work?
Yeah, a little of both. So Basement Flooring did the floors. They're pretty top-notch, a great group, and they come in and help us take all the floors out. They also help with the installation of the hardwood floors. And then the hockey rink, we have some partners within the community that have helped us do that in the past, and we've got some good staff members here that also know how to convert that. So
sure,
yeah, cool process.
Now, when we talked to Matt, he was talking kind of a little bit your schedule here during the week. A lot of local teams are here, either playing games or practicing. But on the weekends, Friday, Saturday, Sundays, I mean that's tourism that's coming in here. They're coming into a tremendous facility. But you mentioned before, you must see just all types of the hockey groups, the wrestling groups, the volleyball groups. I mean, there must all be certain styles, but they literally hang out here all day. I mean, you have great concessions, but that's got to be interesting to people watch.
Yeah, I mean, I got a lot of funny stories. I don't know if I'll share all of them with you tonight, but each group has kind of some small differences between them, and they have like a different type of culture. But at the end of the day, it's a ton of kids, parents watching their kids play, and just ton of activity throughout the building. It's super cool. That
really is true. I had my oldest played soccer, and that was a certain group, and even within that group there's certain groups within the group. And then I had one that played lacrosse, and you're right, they're different. And Tosh, I know you have a couple of questions as well, but Tosh is a hockey dad, and that's a different group as well. So I think I'd sit outside your office all day and just watch people.
Yeah, I guess my question for you is, so as the weekends come up, you're full board already into tournaments and everything else. What's it like on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and what is your amount of people coming through here on any given weekend?
Yeah, I'd say our average total people is probably 2,500. So it's a busy place. A normal weekend brings at least 100 teams. So we. Talking about hockey and volleyball kind of go together. The seasons kind of go together. So a normal volleyball tournament will bring in about 64 teams a weekend, and then we can do another 20 to 30 on the 2 rinks at the same time. And then, a travel basketball tournament on those 8 courts can bring in, up to 100 to 140 teams. So it's fun watching. We just talked before about you being a hockey dad, but those volleyball girls love watching the hockey guys, and vice versa.
Yeah, that's true.
And, it's just, like I said, ton of people coming through here, all just slightly different with the groups.
So let's just talk about this place from the beginning. How has your growth been, and what do you see as a future?
Yeah, I mean, a ton of learning that first year. So we opened almost 4 years ago, November of 2019, and we hit it right away running. We had hockey tournaments right away and volleyball tournaments. So there was a lot of, a quick learning curve for us and our staff, just trying to figure out how not just the different people, but having 2 different events essentially running at the same time. So we had 2 tournaments going, so you got to manage 2 different groups at the same time and the different people coming in. Then we were blessed with this thing called COVID. So everything we did for 4 months, then we had to change everything and learn to operate in a very different manner. And then once we kind of got out of COVID, we had to kind of relearn the landscape and how things would operate in a back to normal level. So, that was a lot of experience, a lot of different experiences in the last 4 years, and, it's been a crazy ride.
What does your future look like? I mean, if you guys are planning, like say 3 or 4 year plan, I mean, what's it look like for you? Yeah,
I mean, I'd be lying to you if I said that we were, complacent at where we're at. Our tournaments are really, really strong, but our biggest issue is I say no to everybody all the time, so we are full. Like, we don't have room. So we have volleyball groups reaching out to us running to run tournaments, and we don't have space. Our basketball tournaments are using separate sites than we are right now. So, I mean, our plan right now is, knock on wood, if we can figure out a plan here, we would double the size of our field house and go to, 4 more permanent basketball courts, so 8 basketball courts, 16 volleyball courts, and then when you talk about the ice rink coming out, we could get to 12 basketball courts, almost 20 volleyball courts. So, and the thing that's crazy is we have the demand right now. We could, if we could get it done tomorrow, I think we would, and we know those tournaments would fill, and that we just we'd be going from 2,500 people to 4,500.
That's great. So a little bit about this event tonight. We've been interviewing some of the local groups, the Sports Discovery Night. How has that been for you, and what do you see as a future for that? I mean,
yeah, this is a very exciting night for us. It's something we've done a lot of planning for in the last several months. The cool thing about tonight, especially for us and our staff, is we are so heavy in volleyball, hockey, and basketball. We do a little bit of wrestling, we've done some dodgeball stuff, little smaller stuff, but to finally get all kinds of different community members in here that play different sports or that maybe don't have children that play club right now, so they don't ever set foot in our building. It's pretty crazy. We've been open for 4 years, and when I tell people what I do or where I work, there's still people in the community that don't know we're here, and some of those are people with kids. So really exciting opportunity tonight to get, like I said, that different group, whether it's a soccer group or a football group or whatever in the building. It's awesome.
Just speaking to the people that we talked to tonight, a lot of them said the same thing. I mean, it's basically my first time here, and a lot of them, I'm really just blown away at how nice it is, and thinking back to when my kids played, how I can imagine having a place like this to hang out all day. It would be so nice. I'm looking over there at your food area. Do you do the concessions in-house?
Yeah, all of our concessions are handled in-house. We have some different community partners that we partner with on different products that we sell and things like that. But yep, we have a full-time staff of 6, and one of them's a food and bev person that handles all that stuff. I
mean, that's a big operation. You must go through a lot of food here on busy days.
Yeah, I can't even begin to tell you how many slushies we sold. When you go through a couple hundred hot dogs in a weekend and 7,000 slushies over the course of a year, when you start adding that up, it's pretty nuts.
And next to us, you have a bar that so you can come and hang out. That's going to be kind of a hit, I would think, at times.
Yeah,
maybe.
We have the Badger State Parent Lounge, we call it. So we have beer and wine, sponsored by Badger State up in Green Bay. Really. You said we got a lot of cool stuff going on here, a lot of selfies of parents taking pictures of themselves in the bar saying, hey, I'm supposed to be watching my kid play, but having a drink in between. That's been a hit. It gives the parents, one, something to do when their kids aren't playing, but two, it kind of gets them out of the chaos for a little bit of all that screaming and stuff that's going on. And it's a little more secluded and quiet, so they can kind of relax a little bit while the kids are running around doing whatever they do between games.
And all of those families majority of those families are staying in hotels nearby. I mean, the growth that's coming out this way. I mean, we're a little bit west of Fox City Stadium. And you are right. You are tucked back here. It's tough to see off the road. If you could easily miss it. But it's a beautiful facility. Now, are you from the area, or where did you grow up?
So I'm from Pulaski. I'm a 2003 graduate at Pulaski High School, but I went to college in Waukesha. I played basketball at Carroll College. So my wife also went there. So we were down in Waukesha for almost 15 years. My parents have since relocated here. My wife's from Shawano, so this was a chance for us to get back to the Appleton area. I have 3 young children, so just worked out perfect for me to come back up here, be closer to family, have an awesome job, an awesome place to work,
No, absolutely. It would be a great job. No, it's great to meet you. And then you work, Matt kind of described how it works, and you work closely with the Visitors and Convention Bureau, and it's, it's a gem for this area. Tosh, I know you get to take advantage of the ice, and it's great for us as well.
Yeah, I tell everybody this is crown jewel of the Fox Cities, and people who don't really get here need to get here. And like you said, you have no problem with getting events here. You have too many that want to come. So it is incredible. You did an amazing job during COVID. I want to say that when you opened up and things ran, you did a fantastic job. I remember with hockey, and I help out with the Stars hockey team, and you do a fantastic job here. We always enjoy coming, and hopefully we can get more people in here, and hopefully in the future we can see some expansion possibly.
Hopefully the future is like tomorrow, but yes, absolutely.
Yeah. I think we'd love to have you on again sometime and maybe have a longer interview.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for this event. First of all, it was great seeing people here, and thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and for sure, I'd love to come back.
All right, Newsa-Cast listeners, we're going to get into some live interviews. We're lucky enough to be at Discover Sports Night at the Champion Center, and we got to interview a few people. We talked with Pop Warner football, the Saints football, the Fox Cities roller derby.
Gosh, I loved those goals. Sadie, she was so awesome. That's a great interview, I think.
Yeah, they were awesome.
Yes.
LaCrosse, the Appleton LaCrosse Club, we got to spend a little time with.
Yes.
Fox Cities Rugby. Didn't realize how big. I knew rugby was growing. I didn't realize how big it was and how many different organizations are involved under their umbrella, which is really cool to see.
We talk ball, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we kids in elementary school playing rugby, which is absolutely fabulous.
Yes.
To be involved in a sport like that.
Backward.
An interesting one that I've seen played in Darboy Community Park, but I didn't know what it was, and that is the Fox River Hurling Club.
Yes, that was an interesting sport. After the interview, we actually watched a little bit on, they had a videotape going. What a fast, holy cow. You think that might be, I even asked the guy, I don't think we caught it on a recording, but I think that sport runs more than any other sport, maybe more than soccer.
Yeah.
It's very close.
Yeah. And it's played on a soccer field.
Yeah.
It dates all the way back to, the national sport of Ireland.
Yes.
So that was crazy. That was something interesting. They have a small dedicated group right now, hoping to grow. Right now, they're sponsored by McFleischmann's.
Yes,
which is amazing. I love that place. Great outdoor patio, great beer. So you can check them out maybe sometime this coming summer. We got to speak with Mack from Janet Berry, who's involved a goalie with the Appleton Area Hockey Association.
Mack's a math wizard. He's a goalie, and dude's got the best flow I've seen, Tasha, in quite a while.
He's got some serious hockey flow.
He does. He's looking
absolutely good. So, each of these interviews is going to be a little bit about the organization. They're short, 5 minutes, 6 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes here and there. We hope to touch base with all of these groups in the future and really see where they're at and maybe have some full-on interviews with them. And, we didn't get to interview a bunch of groups. They were busy talking with people, but we did make some contacts, and it brings up a good point that if you're listening to this and you're a group that really wants to get your word out about your group, shoot us an email and let us know so we can connect with you and hopefully maybe even get your message out on the Newsa-Cast as well.
Yeah, Newsa-Cast@gmail.com. Shoot us a message for real. One, we'd love to hear from you, but two, like Tosh said, there was over 30 groups at Discovery Night, so it was impossible to talk to everybody. So we would love to talk to everybody on the Newsa-Cast. This comes out once a week, so we have time. Let's talk.
Yeah, shoot us your email, contact us through any of the socials. Yeah, we'll love to connect with you and maybe set up an interview so we can get you on the Newsa-Cast as well.
Enjoy. All right, Tosh, our first interview at the Discover Sports with Bob Masik with Pop Warner. Bob, it's good to have you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
So you're right in the middle of Pop Warner right now. The season's underway. How's everything going?
So far, so good. We've had good weather, which is always important. We've had good crowds, which we have grown accustomed to, and no injuries to speak of, which is always a plus.
Absolutely. No, there's two of the greatest fields in the valley are those two. Grass fields, beautiful, light.
Absolutely. We're pretty proud of those fields. We get a lot of comments on them. They're truly the grass. In an era when everybody's going to synthetic turf, We still have those out there. The county does a great job in helping maintain with us, so we're pretty proud of them.
Oh, absolutely. And the food always smells so good out there.
Well, it does. That's the good part, is that the hamburgers and the brats, you can't beat it.
Tosh doesn't know this. It's part of the officiating contract that we get fed. Never a shortage of officials, right, Bob?
No. Well, in a time when officials are at a premium, we've really been very fortunate. The crews that have worked with us through the years have stayed with us. We try to support them as best we can to avoid any issues on the field, either coaches or parents. And I think all that helps. It makes it a good environment for them.
Oh, absolutely. I agree. It's one of my favorite spots. I'll pass you over to Tosh.
So we're here at the Sports Discovery Night. What is one of the things you guys are hoping to benefit from being at this event?
Well, exposure. Just, for us, I'm always surprised after 50 years when somebody comes up to me, as a couple of people have this year, and said, we didn't know anything about this. And, and you live in the Fox River Valley. It's not a huge community. It's a large community, but I'm always amazed at, what do you mean you haven't heard about this? Because we've been out there for 50 years. But it's exposure. Is to get the message out.
So what are your numbers like currently?
Oh, Kurt, what are we at? We're at about 800.
About 850 with the tackle, flag, and challenger.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a great. My boys came through the program, and it's a great program. One of them's in college now, and one of them's a freshman at FBL. So.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's a great program, and you guys do a great job with everything.
I appreciate it. It's a lot of hard work. Kurt, through the years here, and some guys that help him, Greg Miller, Paul Engen, who's been with the program from the start, Will Springer. These are all guys who really, Steve Peters, another one on the field, they just put heart and soul into it. They're there all the time, countless hours, making sure that everything works right and so forth. You can't say enough about that. So.
Absolutely.
I was just going to talk Coach Engen. I mean, he's been here since the early 70s. What a legend that guy is.
Yes, he was. I came in, John Hennessy approached me when I got talked into coaching the second year that they were out there. Paul Engen was part of the group of coaches that started it. And then the program needed a little boost. John talked me into staying on. I was just out of college, and the rest, I've just been there ever since. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We don't know how lucky we are in this area to have you guys and to have the Pop Warner program. It's a lot of generations now have gone through that program.
It's true, and I can tell you a lot of good people. Through the years, there have been countless people who have stepped up and helped me. It looks like a growing machine now, but there were times where we didn't know we were going to go with equipment. We didn't know we were going to play. We didn't know anything. Right. And if it weren't for people like John Hennessy and other community people, Paul Engen, some other staff, Kinky back in the early days, we would have never made it.
Now, Bud Kinky Otis, right? His boy, he's been a Cleveland Indians groundskeeper for a lot of years, right?
Oh, yeah. Odie Kinky was my first quarterback.
Oh,
wow. He signed up when he was 6th grade, my first year of coaching, and I looked at Bud and Odie Kinky, there was no way he weighed 90 pounds. And so honestly don't know what Bud did at the time, but he came in, stepped on a scale, and he was 91 pounds. The rest was history. And so he played 2 years for me. So
that's awesome. That's awesome. And a big leads groundskeeper. That's that'd be a great career, wouldn't that?
Oh, yeah.
Be fun.
Excellent, yeah.
Barney, there's a few guys that have come through Appleton that Barney Lopez, he's had Anaheim or California Angels for, a long time as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
Well, Bob, this has been fun. There's a few people walking through it. Nothing else. This is a beautiful facility.
Oh, this is outstanding. Again, for this community.
And you know what? When the season's over here, maybe we can get you on the podcast and do a longer interview, talk a little history and everything.
I always want to talk about Pop Warner. That's probably, outside of my family, they'll tell you it's Pop Warner. So.
All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
So, Sadie with Foxfeller Roller Derby.
Hi, Joe. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. So, tell me, I've never seen roller derby.
Oh, you are missing out.
Sorry.
Roller derby, as our president, who had to leave a little bit ago, was describing to somebody, it's kind of like NASCAR on roller skates and a little bit of like football. You wear all of this protective gear. You have these speed skates that you're on, helmets, mouth guards. We're very, very careful, right? And then you have 2 teams of 5. Your team consists of 3 blockers, who are essentially like your defense.
5 on 5.
5 on 5. You have a jammer, who's your point scorer, and your pivot, who can essentially be a jammer or a blocker, depending on if they are in control of what's called the star.
Okay.
The jammer wears the star. That's the person who can score the points.
So what's a scar look like?
Okay, so the star is a cover on your helmet.
Okay.
The star is visible on either side. And you start off back here,
and
behind
where are you playing
line.
this? Like in a roller?
Roller rinks, arenas, hockey rinks that don't have the ice on them at any given moment. Sport courts, lots of different places can host roller derby.
Are there referees?
There are referees. We have on skates referees, like our friend Bronzy Locks here. And then I'm what's considered an off skates or non-skating official.
Okay.
So we do all sorts of things from timing to running the penalty box to tracking the penalties and the lineups, scoreboard operation. Yes, sometimes in the penalty box, but if you're in the penalty box and you're getting yelled at by that player, you've got the power to give a penalty. So
sure,
it's probably not in their best interest to do that.
So we're in a roller rink or we're in an abandoned ice rink. You're playing 5 on 5.
Yes.
Somebody has a scarlet.
Yep.
They're trying to get to the other end to score?
So what they do is when they take off at the whistle, they need to get through this line of opposing blockers.
And they have those big pads, the blocking pads?
Correct. They're all, well, not the big pads, but
That's for children to hit us.
That's for children to hit us, That's an exercise. You have to actually hit the blocking pads in the sense of them being people on skates. You have to get through them, and if you can get through that entire pack and out of what we call the engagement zone, which is where the pack lives, so to speak, you can get a point for every player that you go past. Potentially, you could get 4 points for every time you go through, and then you just keep going around. Now, each jam or opportunity for gameplay is 2 minutes long, or can be called off by the lead jammer, the first one to get out of the pack. So sometimes there's a strategic reason to get through the pack, see the other one coming on your heels, and call it off to cut off their ability to score points.
Interesting. I like it. So is the coach calling that, or is that just a player being smart enough at that time to call it?
Could be a combination thereof. Yep, there's bench staff, there's people flagging, giving you ideas, and sometimes you just do it.
So I feel very safe right now around all of you, but I feel like when you all get together, there's some good contact. Is that?
Yes. So we start people out through a non-contact boot camp, and we're teaching them the game of roller derby. We can take new people at any given time, but we're running a boot camp right now. And then they graduate through their minimum skills. They get to a point where they're able to do what we call land derby, where we put them in all their gear and we let them play off skates. So they have to run around the circle. It makes it, I guess it's an incentive for them to get better so they can get on skates and not have to expend as much effort going around that circle, right? And
how long does a game last usually?
A game is 2 periods of 30 minutes apiece.
So you're skating, I mean, you got to be kind of sore after. You feeling it the next day?
Yeah, quite a bit.
Do squats?
Lots of squats. Yeah. Squats are a prerequisite.
Where do you guys play? Where can we come and see games? When do you play?
So we are working on getting our season together for this year, setting up the teams we're going to be against and where we're going to be playing at. So you can always keep an eye on our website, which is foxcitiesrollerderby.com. For updates, you can also follow us on Facebook. We've got the Fox Cities Roller Derby Facebook page where we'll keep updates going as to when our season's going to be, where it's going to be, our away games, our home games, and people can come on down and check us out.
I'm going to check this out. I love this.
Excellent.
Well, thank you guys so much.
If you're even thinking about playing roller derby, feel free to email us. We are foxcitiesderby@gmail.com, or we've got a sign-up sheet going on here today. Let us know that you're going to come down, or if you want to be an official, learn how to do it on skates, off skates. We can teach you everything you need to know. Just bring a mouth guard.
Another officiating opportunity. We've been just spilling those out week after week.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you guys so much. Very nice to meet you. I'm going to come out and check you guys out for sure.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
Brian Bailey, it's good to have you.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yeah, how's the season? I know that it's a spring sport, but there's fall lacrosse. Lacrosse, like every sport, it's almost year-round these days. I know they play box up in Green Bay at the high school level. So what do you have guys going right now? Anything fall related?
Absolutely. So a lot of things happening with lacrosse for Appleton ALC this year. We just did a camp with the men's varsity coach at Lawrence University.
Yes.
That was a huge hit. A lot of fun. If you haven't already, please go and introduce yourself to Coach Mikey Zadroga. He's a great guy. East Coast guy from Philly. He has a lot of great ideas. So we're trying to partner with him to promote those kind of opportunities around here. We're doing a fall skills clinic every Wednesday night from about 5:30 to 7. You know, we really promote those multi-sport athletes. So the kids that are playing football and hockey right now that are tied up, we really want to give them one extra day of lacrosse so it stays tops of mind with skills. We're going to do a couple of try lacrosse for free opportunities here and there over the valley. And then we're going to take a little break, take a little breather, let the kids play hockey and basketball, and we're going to regroup in January, February. We're going to start our winter skills clinic.
Yeah, absolutely. Get touches, baby. Get touches,
right? Get touches, man. Wall time.
Now, is there anything better than an East Coast lacrosse guy?
Oh, man.
I think not.
Dude, he's so great to talk to. You know, when I first met him, I asked him, hey, what's the main difference between East Coast lacrosse and Midwest lacrosse? And he's promoting box. He's like, the young kids out east, they start in box, and they do box in winter, box in summer. So I'm hoping that can kind of snowball into more box opportunities around here as well.
It's growing through the years. You know, I've told one of my boys, Owen, he graduated last year. You know, played lacrosse for 6-8 years. Came right through the program with. Talk about East Coast guys, Paul Espinoza, and you know he was taught by East Coast guys, Roger Hornberger. You know, those guys all came from the East Coast, and it's lacrosse out there is treated like Friday Night Football is treated here. I mean, that's the atmosphere that's out there, and I wish him good luck back here at Lawrence, man. And it's good to see Appleton hooking up with him and using those resources.
Yeah, no, it's going to be great. Having a presence like that in there is going to be great. You know, from an Appleton and ALC perspective, last year we had 140, 150 kids in the program. You know, the upside to that is our boys program is strong. We really have a lot of solid numbers. The downside of that is our girls program is really growing. So we're really trying to focus on growing the girls game in the area as well. So that's going to be a focus for us in the next year or two.
Yeah, I know we had a big group age out from the 13-14 team. How do numbers look coming up for the following year?
Yeah, so that's been a challenge for us, kind of that ebb and flow, that bullwhip effect, right? So from a 12U perspective, we're going to have almost enough for 2 teams.
Wow.
So we have close to 28 to 30 kids on the 12s.
That's excellent.
And, you know, we just, as you just mentioned, we had an exodus of about, 12 to 14-year-olds.
Yeah.
So now we're going to have low numbers on the 14, so we're trying to grow that as well. Yeah, so one of the main focuses for me, kind of a new president coming in, is how do we stabilize those numbers? Right. And our ideal goal is to double in size. So how do we have essentially 2 teams at the 14, 12, 10, 8U level for boys and double the number for girls? So that's going to be our mission right now for the next 2 years.
I think one of the big things is that you're going to see and be able to promote this huge group of kids coming up to the JV and varsity team, and Appleton United being a WIA sport for the first year too. I think those connections are, they're natural.
Yeah.
So
no, you're spot on, and we've already started to connect with the Appleton United, now Appleton High School program. We really want to get those guys down to run camps with the youth, right? Because I never played lacrosse, I played soccer, but we would run tournaments and clinics for the youth, and then the next thing you know, you're building a pipeline, right? And then you go to the games and you can look and be like, oh yeah, I was at a camp when I was 10, but now like that guy's off in college, and now I'm the captain of the high school team. So that pipeline is going to be huge for us going forward. So we're going to partner with the high school program to run camps too, boys and girls.
Awesome.
One of the great things about the Appleton lacrosse kids, a lot of them officiate. Make sure to do that and promote that. And we need that, because that's as tough as it is for you to find coaches to fill those slots. I know that's a really difficult job. It's equally, if not harder, to find officials to work those games. So
that's a good point too. A lot of times in the younger games, we have volunteer dads, volunteer coaches who have to step in and ref. So if you know of any opportunities, we will happily promote it all over our socials to get kids into learning how to ref.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we talk about it on the Newsa-Cast. I'm not able to officiate as much as I once did, the sport of lacrosse, but it's one of my all-time favorite things to do. I love working that game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing lacrosse always has going for it is the greatest game. So once I think kids play it and just get used to the stick skills, man, there's no better sport than lacrosse.
It's awesome. It's a great sport. I grew up in Virginia on the East Coast, and when I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, it was only for private school kids.
Yeah.
But I played football and I played soccer and I played elite soccer up and down the East Coast, and I'd always have private school kids on my team that would come and bring their gear, and I was always so jealous because I didn't have access to it. So the fact that it's here, it's growing, it's WIA sponsored, you're going to see this explosion in popularity, I hope, over the next 3 to 5
So what
years.
college team do you follow? Virginia? Virginia basketball?
No, not Virginia basketball. I do like UVA lacrosse.
Yeah.
Right? Men's lax. I'm a big Virginia Tech football fan.
Okay.
I do support the Badgers on all things as long as it doesn't collide with Tech. However, Tech is not good right now. They're just terrible.
I asked because Tony Bennett's he's from this area,
UW
from Green Bay.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah, he's doing UVA basketball has always been solid.
Yeah. It might, some people, some on the street say it's a boring brand of basketball, but it's the Bennett way. I love it.
Yeah, you can't knock always in the top 10, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Best defense ever.
Right.
So, well, cool, man. It was great Tosh, we're good. This is, keep your eyes open for lacrosse. It's, like I said, it's the best game out there. So thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Hey, welcome to the Newsa-Cast. Andi, we was first of all, if you're going to tell us a little bit about your organization and ages that you cover.
Yeah, sure. So Fox Cities Rugby, we start as young as second grade, sometimes even first grade, all the way through high school for youth. It is co-ed flag rugby from elementary school through middle school, and then once they also then have the choice in middle school if they want to do tackle, and then that's when we separate then like boys and girls, and then tackle is then middle school and high school.
Wow. So we're here at the Sports Discovery Night.
Yep.
What is a big goal for you for tonight for being here?
Yeah, so we're definitely trying to recruit for our spring and summer for 2024. We also do have men's and women's teams as well that we're always recruiting for. Our season will go until like the middle of November, and then we'll start back up in early spring with some indoor practices and then get back outside.
What are your numbers like right now?
Our numbers are pretty good. For youth, we kind of split up into grades, so we usually have almost like 2 teams like per grade, and usually it's about 7 or 8 kids per team, so we have almost like 16 kids like per grade group, which is really great. When we practice out we also practice out at Haysacker Park in Little Chute, and there we have about like 45 kids that come to our practices on Tuesdays.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you have a kid who's might be interested, what do you tell these kids? What do you say? What's your draw?
Yeah, so like the biggest thing is that rugby is very inclusive. It's not like soccer or football where you only have like one person that kind of controls the game or controls the ball. Everybody gets the chance to touch the ball. Everybody gets the chance to score. So that's kind of the nice thing about it, is that it doesn't matter how big or little you are. You always have that chance, and a lot of kids don't get that chance in other sports.
That's awesome.
Well, I was going to ask, it's a really interesting sport. I think a lot of us, maybe our age, a little bit older, saw like Australian rules football.
Sure.
Didn't know what the heck we were watching, but you're holding, it's a rugby ball.
This is a rugby ball.
Can I touch your ball?
So it's kind of funny because I'm going to make a bumper sticker that says "Women's rugby, our balls are bigger than yours," because they are bigger than a football. This one is actually a youth ball. This is size 4. We usually do like the size 5, which is like that turtle ball over there. The biggest difference, obviously, is if you've ever seen it, is that passes aren't done forward. They're always done like sideways and like backwards. So that's kind of like the interesting thing that, sometimes a little like difficult concept to get in touch, but once you kind of start running around with the ball, it's definitely a lot easier. It makes more sense.
How many people are on the field? How many players? 11 on 11?
Nope, so it always kind of like depends. For youth, I believe the elementary school is 5 kids, so 5 versus 5, and then as they get older, then they start doing more. So like middle school will be like 7, so 7 versus 7, and then if they get as they get older, then we switch into like 15, so then 15 versus 15, which is usually what we do in the fall as well for the adults.
So then when you get watching like the Olympic rugby or whatever, that's 15 on 15, 30 people. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
How many officials? I'm an official, so I always nerd out on officials.
So usually we have touch judge, so line judges. There's one on each side, and then one referee, a sir.
Sure. Yeah, it's a quick passes back.
Yes. A lot of hard tackles.
What do you call? Are they called laterals, passes? What do they call
They're
that?
backwards pass, lateral.
Yep.
Sure.
Backwards pass. Yes.
Yep.
No, that's awesome. And Tosh covered how to get a hold of you guys, but it's it's a super interesting sport.
You guys can scan our little QR code on there, and that'll bring you at least to like the youth page. And then we do also have Fox Cities Gargoyles, which is our men's team, and then Fox Valley Chaos is our women's team.
Oh, that's awesome.
Maybe we can get back in touch with you come springtime and see how your numbers are and see how things are going.
Yeah.
We know how to get a hold of you now.
Yeah, our men, they host a tournament in the middle of May that's a 10s tournament, so 10 versus 10. And we usually bring a bunch of different men's and women's teams, not just from Wisconsin, but from all over the Midwest, too.
Oh, that'd be great. We'll have to remember that for sure.
Yeah, sure.
Well, thank you so much.
We play out at Greenville Lions Park, and that's also where we practice as well, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah,
we
thank
appreciate
you so much,
it.
guys.
And if you're interested in youth rugby, men's rugby, women's rugby, check out Fox Cities Rugby.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys.
Thanks.
Thank you.
I'm Mack, and I go to Janet Berry, and I play for Appleton hockey.
What position?
Goalie.
Oh, goalie. Nice. There's not many kids built that way, are there?
No.
Best position on the ice?
I think so.
Yeah. You like all the equipment?
It's heavy, though.
Yeah. So how's school going?
Good.
What's your favorite subject?
Math.
Very good. So a goalie, and you like math. You're off to a good start. So how's now your season? When does the hockey season start? Pretty soon?
October.
So it's coming up in a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
Do you skate in the off season?
Yeah.
Now we're in the Champions Center. This is my first time here. This is a pretty cool place. Have you skated here before?
Yeah.
It's one of your favorite places?
Second.
Second favorite. What's your favorite?
Appleton rink.
Oh, nice. The one at Memorial Park? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, is the ice different? Is one faster or slower than the other?
No.
Okay.
I just like it better there.
Okay. Do the lights make a difference as a goalie? Can you see the puck different in the rink?
No.
Different rinks?
I see it the exact same.
Yeah, nice. Do you do a lot of practicing? How do you practice to be a goalie?
I mean, I just go on the ice and work hard as much as I can.
Just take shots, right? Have shots taken at you?
Yeah.
You're pretty flexible?
Not super, but I'm pretty flexible.
Who's your favorite goalie in the NHL?
Darcy Kemper.
Mac, I have a question for you. Why do you love hockey so much?
I don't know. My friend got it into me when I was like 5-6 years old. Now I just love it.
Do you have friends at school? They look up to you as a hockey player? Do they you play hockey, really?
I mean, kinda. I had one friend that played with me, but he quit hockey last year, I think.
All right. So tell me a little bit. Your season's coming up. You're obviously hoping to make states and all those. What level do you play right now?
I played Scored A. I'm hoping to be on PWA.
The PWA this year. Okay, so you're in the 12 and under right now, right? Is it?
Yeah.
So it's the 12U basically. I know. I'm trying to remember when my kids played, and I know Bantam is 14 and 13, so 11 and 12 are your PWAs. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. I did want to ask you. You've been playing. How many years have you been playing now?
Like 4.
4. All right. Did you go through the Learn to Skate program, or did you jump right in?
Yeah.
All right. So, we had Matt Blair on, who has been involved with hockey. My kids have been involved with hockey and came through the same programs. If you had somebody who was your age and they were looking to play hockey, what would you tell them?
Just try your best and work hard.
Work hard. All right. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mac, they got to have great hair like yours, though, right? You've got good flow going. I love it.
Yeah.
Yes, you've got the hockey flow. It's important. Thanks, man. Good luck. We'll come and watch you play.
Thanks.
All righty. Bye.
My name is Sara Wesner. I am part of the Fox River Hurling Club.
Yeah, Newsa-Cast. We're at the Hurling Club here at the Sports Discovery Nights at Champions Center. So we want to know a little bit more about hurling. What is this?
All right. So hurling, it's actually the national sport of Ireland, and it's a ball and stick field sport. Typically, we play it on a soccer field. You are allowed to strike the ball with the stick. You can kick it. You can pass it with your hand. It is a full contact sport, so we do wear helmets, but it's typically shoulder-to-shoulder contact only if someone has the ball. Since we all have jobs and we like to not be broken. We take it easy on each other during practices. But we are here tonight to try to recruit more people to gain interest back in our Bandits program, our youth program, and also try to grow interest in our adult league as well. We do practice at the Oshkosh Recplex in the wintertime on UWO's campus, and we also have a memorial tournament as well for Brian Pierce. We're trying to plan that for February this coming February. We had it in May, I believe it was this year. But we're just here to try to get the word out about hurling and, meet some more friends.
What kind of numbers do you have right now with your group?
I think we're at about 20 to 25 adults, give or take. We take men, women. Some of our friends are there. They have their kids there. It's a whole family affair. We all like the camaraderie. It's a good way to relieve stress. And heck, some of us get together and help each other out with yard projects. I know fall is coming.
Yep.
I know I took advantage of that this year already. Right? So we're all here to help each other out.
Do you have a website that if people are interested in, they can go to?
Yeah, we do have a website. Otherwise, you can find us on Facebook under the Fox River Hurling Club. You can shoot us a message on there, and someone will reach out to you.
I'm assuming all ages, even somebody my age, can hurl, correct?
Yes.
I'm looking at the shirt right there, McGinnis Irish Pub, one of my favorite places. Spent a night there at Mile of Music. It was wonderful.
Yeah, they've been a great sponsor of ours in the past. We have been mixing it up a little bit. We might hit them back up again. Right now, OB's and McFleshman's are our sponsors, but we have to go around and ask people for
Good
money.
Beer. Yeah, I know, I understand.
And maybe some beer as well. But if people come out and say hi to us tonight, we do have some coupons for $10 off a dinner at OB's.
Nice. And what's the ball made out of?
The ball, it is a cork-wrapped leather ball, very similar to a baseball.
But light.
Yeah.
And it's whacked with that, so...
Yes.
So this is called a hurling.
Okay. Now, what's this made out of? Just wood, or is it like a baseball bat where it's a certain
Historically,
kind of
the original ones are made out of ash, kind of like the root part of the ash tree.
Good tape job.
But as things have changed and technologies have progressed, you'll see composite materials. I play with a composite hurley. I just like the weight of it.
Yeah.
The ash hurleys they do dry out. It's wood. I've broken a hurley before, so my composite one has lasted me a little bit longer. But
and the ball stays on the ground?
The ball, you can pass it with your hand. You can balance it on the hurley. You're not allowed to pick the ball up off the ground with your hand. You have to flick it up like that. Yep.
Oh, wow.
You can kick it to each other. It's a lot of fun. We actually use a soccer goal with rugby uprights. So if you get it past the goalie, it's 3 points, and if you get it over them in the uprights, it's 1 point. The rules have changed, so you can't hand pass into a goal anymore, I believe.
Okay.
At least for the women's team, you could use any body part but your hand. But I think the men's rules are just a little bit more stringent, so you have to, I think, use the hurley or like your feet. Don't quote me on that, but it's pretty close to that. Yeah, anybody's welcome to come watch. Just check us out on Facebook to see what we're up to.
Awesome.
Everyone's welcome to come check it out.
With Peter, with the Fox Valley Saints, and you're halfway through the season. Things are going well?
Yeah, things are going really well. Our numbers have been fantastic this year. We had over 130 kids register. Had the good problem of having to split our teams at each level. So we had 2 teams at 6th grade, 2 teams at 7th grade, and 2 teams at 8th grade for the first time.
And that's excellent. So, and you guys kind of do a co-op with Xavier, so it's both schools combined.
Yes. So it's the Fox Valley Lutheran system and the Xavier system. So Catholic and Lutheran schools, as well as non-denominational schools, and anyone actually who is considering FVL or Xavier as a high school, or goes to a Catholic school in the Fox Valley area. So, a Christian school in the Fox Valley area.
I mean, at the end of the day, that's the way it should work, right? That's pretty
right.
sweet.
I mean, and it's a great way. I was just talking with some other parents about this. A great way for the kids who are in the middle school, from all the many different schools surrounding the area. We might pull 2 from one school, 1 from another school, and 5 from another school, and they all come together on a football team where they can get to know each other before going off to high school and meeting each other. So it's like forming those bonds before you even get to high school.
Oh, that's huge. Absolutely. Now, you've had the Saints been, what year number is this? 3
this
or 4?
This is our 4th season.
You're right. Mm-hmm. So now you've had teams cycle through into the high school. Are you seeing a difference now as they get through up to varsity football?
I think we are already seeing a difference. Absolutely. We have, so our first class of Saints players is now juniors. And we have 4 of our Xavier anyway. We have 4 of our starters, of our starting linemen were, through the Saints program.
Sure.
And I do the analyst part of the broadcast for our games, and so I watch the footwork of all the guys that I coached back in the day.
I love footwork.
And the footwork of those linemen has really carried through from what we've taught through those years in the Saints program.
At the end of the day, right, it's all about footwork.
It is, and it's all about that cohesiveness that you learn by being together throughout. The Pop Warner program was awesome. Unfortunately, when 4 years ago they weren't able to support the 6th and 7th grade, that's when we came up with the Saints program. And now those kids play together on the same team through the program starting in 6th grade rather than finding a new team in 8th grade after Pop Warner's over. So it's been great for the cohesion that way as well.
Oh, I'll bet. It's almost like a reflex, isn't it, with footwork? It has to get to that level where the greatest athletes just don't think about it. It's so good.
Absolutely. That's the way we did it every day. We started every practice with 15 to 20 minutes of just lineman footwork. Everyone did it. Not just the lineman, not just the receiver, not the receivers and quarterbacks didn't get out of it. Everyone did blocking. Everyone worked on footwork because you don't know what position you're going to play when you get to high school. Things change.
Now, I know you've been part of it even before the Saints. My son, Will, who is a freshman in college now.
Slapshot.
Yep.
I remember him.
You were involved at that time. And my son, Ethan, was the first group to come through 6th, 7th, and 8th grade.
Yep.
And he's a freshman now. And one thing you said is that they grow these friendships with these kids they're playing with. And when they get into high school, it's not like I'm looking for friends. They already have that group established. And it's definitely carried over on the football field because I know FBL's freshman team is doing really well this year. They're playing good football, and it comes back to you guys and the coaching you've had for these years. How are you able to keep these coaches and get these parents involved?
Well, the coaches actually are typically parent coaches that are coming through with their kids. And what we found is that rather than having coaches that stay there, the coaches that really get invested in the success of the program and into the kids are the parents of the kids that they're coaching. And I meet with them multiple times throughout the off season, leading up to the season. We talk about the commitment to the teams that we need to have, the commitment to the principles of Saints football, which are, number one, that we, honor God is number one. Number 2, make sure everyone's having fun. Number 3, make sure that everyone wants to come out and play football again next year. Number 4 is to build positive friendships and memories, which is part of, number 3. And number 5, once you've achieved 1 through 4, is let's win some football games. That's what we like to do on Saturday, but it doesn't mean anything if you didn't achieve 1 through 4. And so those things, I think, really stick in the head of our coaches, and they bring that out in the practice field.
And how fun is a Friday night game, Xavier versus FBL? All those kids know each other.
It's
They're
awesome.
out there battling. They're shaking hands and hugging each other after the game.
I've seen after the Apple Bowl on the last couple of years. I didn't see it this year. I wasn't watching as closely, but last year I saw a couple of them, guys from the different sides. They took off their jerseys, put them on the opposite team's jerseys, and took a picture together because they had played with, actually that was JV games because they were guys that played through the Saints program. So, not just the relationships you build with the kids you're going to go to school with, but then your friendly rivals from across town too.
Yeah, they want to kill each other in the game.
Yeah.
But after the game,
they're buddies.
The friendships
again.
are there.
Yeah, it's very cool to see.
Well, maybe when the season's done, we can have you on for a full interview on our podcast and talk about Saints wrestling possibly too that started.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
We appreciate your time.
Yeah.
And we're glad we could catch up with you here and talk a little Saints football.
All right. Thanks a lot. Good to hear from you guys.
Well, Tosh, we did it. That was a lot of fun. I hope people kind of felt what Tosh and I felt. It was pretty pretty live there. It was fun to interact with all the folks. Our first crack at kind of really going mobile like that for us, portable, and that was a lot of fun. And man, we met some great people. The girls from the roller derby, they were fantastic, but all of the groups were one, they were just interested in. Two, is just a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was, and it was some good connections to make, and good word getting out on the podcast. And what we really hope to do, we will try to do our best to link all the groups that we've talked to, and we really hope to get your organizations some FaceTime on our radio podcast, right?
That's the ultimate
like
goal.
You said, yeah, face to radio. But if you represent a sport and you want to bring awareness to it, and we weren't able to interview you, again, please let us know. Contact us through our socials, email us, and we'd love to get your word out to the community about your sport. Hey, Newsa-Cast, we're looking forward to this throwback. Unfortunately, we are doing this one because we just had all-time great third baseman from the Baltimore Orioles, Brooks Robinson, just passed away.
Yeah, it was a shame, Tosh. Brooks was at the Red Smith Banquet in 2003. We had a heck of a lineup that year. Vern Lundquist, the smooth voice of Vern Lundquist, and Leroy Butler, number 36 for the Green Bay Packers. But Brooks Robinson, an Hall of Fame third baseman, just by all accounts, one of the greatest guys ever. And just, Tosh, there was no better. When you think of third basemen, at least for me, I think Brooks Robinson and Mike Schmidt. Those are my two third basemen.
Yeah, and he was just, he's beloved by Orioles fans. Probably one of the favorite players that, his name comes up. But he was just, I sat there and talked with him, and just an all-around nice guy.
Absolutely.
Unbelievable. Lots of character, just, he was awesome. Just fantastic to talk with. Stories. He had, what a career. Truly one of the best third basemen to ever play the game.
Tosh, he was such a nice guy that we gave him an award called the Nice Guy Award. He was that nice.
Absolutely. He was that nice. That was a truly fitting award for him. To sit there and talk to a nobody from, as your dad said, Applesauce, Wisconsin.
Yeah.
But talk to him like he knew you, for years. It was just unbelievable experience.
There's nothing like a classic old baseball guy. I don't know what it is, but they can tell the best stories in the world, and they are just genuinely the nicest people. And I was thinking, Tosh, you talked about Brooks playing for the Orioles, and low key, that I think that's my favorite. Other than the ball and glove, I think the Oriole cap and that Oriole logo might be my second favorite logo in baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a classic for sure.
Good old Earl Weaver, Tosh. If you ever want, Brooks Robinson certainly played for Earl Weaver. And boy, if you ever want entertainment, right? Hit YouTube and Earl Weaver.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you're on YouTube. You're going to be watching Brooks Robinson. After you're done, type in Earl Weaver rants.
Yes.
And you will see some classic manager going after the umpires, and you'll be crying. You'll be laughing so hard.
Oh, absolutely. And the umpire is just as good as Earl, because that umpire's only job that night, Josh, was to, we'll let the video
stick it to Earl and the Orioles. Yeah, absolutely. We think you're going to love this one. It's obviously with a heavy heart that Brooks Robinson passed away, but you can relive Brooks through this throwback.
Absolutely. 2003, the Red Smith Banquet at the Radisson Paper Valley Hotel that evening.
Red Smith Sports Awards. Banquet Throwback.
The Red Smith Award, of course, goes to someone who has made some unique contributions to sport in Wisconsin, and also epitomizes the great values that Red Smith exhibited.
Let's give a Red Smith welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege and honor to present the Miller Nice Guy Award to Brooks Robinson.
There you go, buddy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's great to be here in Appleton tonight to say hello to all of you, and it's a wonderful feeling to be recognized as a nice guy. And as I look around this table here tonight, there's a lot of great guys, and this is one of the nice things about coming to a banquet like this, because I get to meet a lot of people that I used to watch on TV. And Eric here tonight, congratulations, Eric, on your Rookie of the Year. I've followed your career this year, and I'm very happy for you. And it's nice to see Vern again. Been a while. Leroy, I followed your career, pal. Enjoyed that. And Pat, I want you to tell, I followed Brooks's career also. And I was just a little kid when Pat played, you know, and he was one of my... He was one of my heroes when he was catching passes there. But I just want to thank Miller Beer for this award, because I'm very excited about it. You know, I never wanted to do anything in my whole life except put on a baseball uniform and play. I tagged along after my dad as a youngster. He was a pretty good semi-pro player back in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I was a bat boy on a lot of his teams. We went to the same high school. We played on the same American Legion team. And that was my dream. I remember when I was in the 8th grade, I wrote a booklet on my vocation, or what I wanted to do when I grew up. And I wrote it on being a professional baseball player. And when your dream comes true, that's pretty awesome, I'll tell you. My mom and dad would probably be more proud of this award right here than anything that I accomplished in my baseball career. And I think that the things that they taught me, I learned at an early age that in baseball, everyone has a job to do, whether it be your teammates, the reporters, your fans, and you give them all the respect. And I can only tell you that it's come back tenfold to me. And I just thank all the people that I ran into through my career would think of me as a nice guy, and I do appreciate that award. As I look around this crowd out here tonight, I tell you, it's my kind of crowd. The older, the better. Now, I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but I can only tell you, whoever said that fame was fleeting, I know exactly what they mean, because it's brought home to me every day I walk this earth. And it's usually brought home by some little 6 or 7-year-old kid. I mean, I can't stand those kids, if you want to know the truth. I mean, what a pain. I'm just kidding. I love them all. But, you know, sometimes I can sit around and I start thinking of all the wonderful things that happened to me in my career, you know, and my ego gets up in the air, and leave it to one of these little 6 or 7-year-old kids who come by and puncture that ego and bring you right back down to earth. And I was invited to a grammar school here not too long ago. It was career day, and they wanted me to come by and talk about being a professional baseball player. And I said, great, I'd be more than happy to. So I got out of my car and I started walking into the school. It was a grammar school, kids 6 to 12. And I began to think, look, I've been out of the game 25 years. These kids have no idea who Brooks Robinson is. And sure enough, when I got into school, my fears were well-founded, believe me. And I had this one little kid come running up to me, you know, said, oh, Mr. Robinson, am I glad to see you? And he was waving this book in front of my face, and it was called The Brooks Robinson Story. He said, Mr. Robinson, man, he said, this book was great. He said, but I thought you were dead. You know, and then one of them wanted to know, did you play with Babe Ruth? And I said, no, son, I didn't play with him. You know, and I know all you mothers and fathers know about the baseball cards. I mean, every year you're in the big leagues, they put out a baseball card with your picture on the front, your bio on the back. And my rookie year was 1957, and my last year to play was 1977. And Topps put out 21 Brooks Robinson baseball cards. Well, lo and behold, this one little kid comes up, And he's got all 21 Brooks Robinson cards. I mean, they know how to hurt you. Now, just listen to this, And he said, Brooks, he said, Mr. Robinson, I got to have your autograph. So he gives me a card, and I sign the card and give it back to him. And he said, but I got to have all 21 of these signed. And I said, wait, what do you need 21 Brooks Robinson autographs for? He said, well, since you've been out of the game so long, here in Baltimore, it takes 21 of your autographs now just to get one of Cal Ripken. I'm telling you. I was walking through the airport the other day, and I saw this father and son over on the right-hand side, and I could tell the father recognized me just like that. The little boy had no idea who I was, but kept walking to my gate. All of a sudden, I got a little tug on the coat, and I turn around, and the little kid's there, and he's got a piece of paper and a pen. He said, Mr. Robinson, he said, can I have your autograph? And I said, sure. So I gave him an autograph and gave it back to him. And I said, now, you don't know who Brooks Robinson is, do you? He said, no, I don't. I said, well, what'd you want that autograph for? He said, my dad said that you used to play baseball. You're getting old. You're in the Hall of Fame, and you might die soon, and this might be worth something. So, anyway. I don't have a whole lot else to say except it's really been fun being here. And I know that when I was first starting with the Orioles, Appleton was an Oriole farm system with guys like Boog Powell, Earl Weaver. I mean, well, what a guy he is. And he's mellowed out a little. I do have one little story. We got time for a little story? One little story about Earl. Earl Weaver was, the reason I appreciate Earl, because here was a guy who never wanted to do anything in his life except be a big league baseball player and was not good enough. Went back to the minors, Class D, C, B, A, AA, AAA, the major leagues, and now he's in the Baseball Hall of Fame. But anyway, we had this fellow on our team by the name of Pat Kelly. And Pat Kelly, a very religious guy. In fact, he's a minister now, wonderful guy. And we're playing the Minnesota Twins one night. It's the bottom of the ninth. We're home. We got the bases loaded, and we got one out, and Pat Kelly's up at the plate. And the one thing that drove Earl Weaver crazy was the fact swinging balls out of the strike zone. Anyway, Pat Kelly gets to 3-2, and all he has to do is he gets a base hit, he hits a fly ball, we win the game. Anyway, 3-2, and he swings at a ball over his head like this and strikes out. Anyway, now we're in the 13th inning, and Earl's sitting down there just saying, Pat, how could you do that? Swinging a ball over your head would be home having a cocktail now. I don't understand it, And finally, Pat he had enough, and he came down and he put his hand on Earl Weaver's shoulder and he said, Earl, have you ever thought about walking with the Lord? And Earl, he looked up, kind of shocked him, but he was one of those guys. He was quick with the wit. He looked up and he said, Pat, have you ever tried walking with the bases loaded? Anyway, thank you. Thank you. Anyway, it's been great being with all of you. What a wonderful turnout. I can't tell you, it's the last time I've been to a banquet where there's 1,800 people here. This is just unbelievable. So thanks very much for inviting me, and I do appreciate this Nice Guy Award. Thank you.
All right, Newsa-Cast listeners, it's everybody's favorite time. It is the forgotten and never forgotten. One of you guys, I'm sure some of you probably would like to forget this segment, and maybe some of you have forgotten it already, but we're going to take a little look on things that we want to forget and some things that we never, ever are going to be forgotten. So I'm going to go first. I'm just going to tell you what I want to forget. And this has been 3 weeks of driving my son to school at FVL. And I tell you what, that construction on 441, it can stop anytime it wants to.
I'm lucky.
It's always a traffic jam.
I've heard it's interesting you say that, because I haven't driven it myself, but getting the weather every morning, the local news will always do the local traffic report, and there's not much to it, but They always do mention that specific spot though on 441 that it's always backed up.
Right. There's sometimes when we've driven through the city, but I tell you what, if people would just be nice, be cordial, let the person in, and just keep moving. And traffic, I mean, the police have even been on TV saying, this is called the scissors. The Wisconsin DOT has released videos on it. Just let people in. The second you save by being an idiot and not letting somebody in, backs everything else up, and you don't save any time. So keep traffic moving. Let people in. There you go.
Well, Tosh, I was struggling with what's my forgotten. It's forgotten, and I had one, but that exact conversation just absolutely triggered something in my mind, and it's something that you brought up earlier. Several episodes ago, you were talking about downtown College Avenue and the restriping project and that whole traffic mess down there. And as a lot of you come to know, my mode of transportation is a bike. I love it. And I drove down College Avenue Saturday night. I had dinner down there. There's no place to turn left on a bike. How the hell are you supposed to get across the street? You cannot get across the street. It took me almost longer to cross the street than it did to bike from my house to that point where I had to cross the street. I was infuriated. If there was so much traffic down there on Saturday, because it was one lane, which is whatever. That it's fine. That doesn't affect me. The bike lanes are fine, but you can't maneuver north and south. You can only go east and west, but you can't hardly cross the street. Even at the stoplights, there was so much traffic. They're blocking the lanes. It was just, that's my forgotten. I had forgotten that I'd forgotten that, but Saturday night I was definitely livid. I just wanted
remembering it, right?
All I wanted, Tosh, was sushi, and I couldn't get across the street. So that's definitely forgotten.
There you
go.
You must have been at Sushi Lovers or Nakashima.
Sushi Lovers, yes. It was so good. So good.
All
yes.
right.
They have I really like it there because you can try. Yeah, we'll have to get into a food conversation sometimes, but you can try multiple sushis there and really hone in on what you like.
Excellent. Well, I'm gonna tell you what I never forgetting, and every year it kind of hits. And I've had my oldest son go through high school, and now my youngest one is going through high school. But it's the excitement that you see during homecoming when you teach in high school, and it's fun. It doesn't matter how bad your football team is. It doesn't matter how good your football team is. You have your dress-up days. You have all your events going on. You have your parade. I mean, Appleton East's homecoming is not this week. It's the first week of October. But the excitement's already building. Kids are already gearing up. They're announcing the days, what the days are next week for dress-up and things like that. And, it's a fun time. And you see everybody dressed up for their homecoming dance and stuff like that. So it's, it goes back to the old, the parades that used to go down College for Appleton West, and, Appleton East goes down John Street to the football field. So it's cool. It's a fun time.
Tosh, I like it. That was actually on my list of things for my never forgetting. Because my daughter Amelia is doing her first homecoming is this Saturday, doing the pictures.
Oh. There you go.
She's going out to dinner with one of her friends, and I had two boys that went through it, and it's different with a girl for sure.
Oh, I can't even imagine.
But dances are different than you're right than when we were there. No romance at the dance, right, Mr. Britton?
There you go.
But
space between you.
Absolutely. But no, I'm never forgetting that either, and I'm going to be right in the middle of going to try to take it in this weekend of my daughter.
There you go.
And the other thing I have to say about my never forgetting, and it was your never forgetting last week. So you had Dave Matthews last week, Tosh. I have listened in the last week to so much Dave Matthews that it is impossible for me to ever forget Dave Matthews. I bet you I've listened to 36 hours of Dave Matthews in the last week. So many shows. So that is my never forgetting, because it's just seared into my head.
There you go. Well, I was glad it could trigger something for you. That's awesome.
You definitely did.
Dave Matthews, I still think about the shows and think about going down to Alpine and seeing him at Summerfest. And actually, I remember the first time I saw him, I think, was at the Bradley Center.
Yeah.
The old Bradley Center before it got tore down. So, great shows. Always is. And, you got to catch Dave. And I actually saw Dave at Farm Aid when it was at Miller Park as well.
You and I caught that show together.
Tim Reynolds.
Did we do that show together? I think Nora Jones was there.
Yeah, I think so.
Have. Yeah, that was fun. In fact, I just saw pictures this past weekend. Was I think the last Farm Aid, and Dave was up on stage with Willie and Bob Weir was there. It was a cool group of performers.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's never forgotten, and I'm never forgetting, or something like that.
Whatever it is, have a great week and continue to listen to our podcast. Any place you get your podcasts, and don't forget to check out the throwbacks on YouTube as well. But we really appreciate the fact that you joined us for a little experiment going into the live realm of podcasting, and we hope you enjoyed it, and we hope you can continue to listen.
No, absolutely. We thank everybody, and please like, subscribe, share, spread the word. We'd appreciate it. And always a hoot, Tosh. Enjoy a little Digstown tune as we head on out. Thanks for listening to the Newsa-Cast. We appreciate your support. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so and tell a friend. A huge thanks to Digstown for all the music in today's episode. Catch a gig or find them on Spotify. Northeastern Wisconsin Sports Advancement is a 501c3 organization. Our mission is to raise money, provide support, and create awareness for youth sports organizations in northeastern Wisconsin. We do this primarily through the Red Smith Sports Award Banquet and the Newsa-Cast. Each year, we give back to the community through 3 initiatives: the Every Kid Plays, the Gives Back Initiative, and scholarships to student athletes.